Boom. I always hit the wrong button. Hi, everybody. Welcome into the Sunday Evening Region Weather Live Show. It's meteorologist Matt Wintz. I appreciate you joining me here on this Sunday. If you joined me early, we were tracking those storms in from areas of Illinois. We had the severe thunderstorm warning near Chicago earlier. That storm out over the lake, and now we've got our own storms to deal with. Some of these are on the strong side. I mean, they're borderline severe, so we'll jump into the radar here shortly. Actually, I'll show you the radar right now. Let me thank our sponsors first and foremost. We'll do this while some other people join on this Sunday evening. What we're going to cover here tonight is we'll go through some storm coverage. Where are these storms going? Where are they worst? Where are they, when are they getting out of here? And then we'll talk more long term. What does the month of June look like? Do we have any big heat waves in the forecast? Do we have more much needed rain in the forecast? We'll go through the next 10 to 15 days as we always do here on our broadcasts. Want to thank our sponsors, though. They keep everything for free. They're just all family-owned, wonderful businesses right here in Northwest Indiana. So if you need anything done in any of these trades, please use them. And I wholeheartedly support all of them. I think they all do amazing work. You guys tell me that as well. We'll start with Earl's Heating and Cooling and Air Conditioning. If you guys are ready for the heat, as we are going to start to get some heat around here eventually, Earl's Heating and Air is offering a limited time AC tune-up special. So if you need that AC tuned up, they've got a special that's only going to last for a couple weeks here to make sure you're cool and comfortable throughout the summer. Don't wait for a breakdown. Call Earl's today, or you can go to the website, which is earlsheating.com. They've been around since 1976. They do great work here in the region. PSA, that's our public service adjusters. What's a public service adjuster? Well, if you have an insurance claim on your property, something falls down, you've got a leak, someone did something wrong, whatever it happens to be, typically you'd go to your insurance company first, right? They'd give you the runaround. They'd come out 2 weeks later. They'd short you how much money you needed, and then they'll raise your rate. That's not how it needs to work. Public service adjusting is there as the go-between. They're all licensed, insured adjusters here from right in Northwest Indiana. They all have families. They're wonderful folks. What they will do, they'll come out. You call them first. They come out. They look at the problem. They take pictures. They document it. They send everything to your insurance company, and you don't have to do any of it. They will talk to your insurance company the whole time, and they get you the dollars that you deserve, and they're stubborn. You should see some of these claims that they've gotten more money on from stubborn insurance companies. But anyway, they do great work. Publicserviceadjusting.com, the place to go there. If you're in need of a new roof, or maybe you've got something leaking from this rain that we've had going through, Romans Roofing would love to help you out. They're local to the Hobart area. They service all of Northwest Indiana. They provide retail, and not just retail, but storm restoration options for residential and commercial as well. Roofing, siding, windows, gutters, all those things they do. All inspections and estimates are free. RomansRoofing.net or 219-838-9111. Great Lakes Lighting, you want to make sure your home is the envy of the neighborhood with expertly placed outdoor lighting. It can make a flower bed look like a botanical garden. It's amazing. It also enhances security on your property as well. If you've got some dark spots, you want to light them up, expertly placed, looking really good. They're the ones to do it. They do great work. You should check out some of their pictures that they've got on their Facebook page. You can go to lightupnwi.com or Great Lakes Lighting on Facebook. Minogue.life. Michael Minogue serves the world of Medicare, Medicaid, life insurance. He does it all. He's amazing. As a local certified senior advisor and insurance agent that focuses on individual health and life insurance, he never calls people that don't request a call, so don't expect any random phone calls. You can set everything up for him to go over your benefits plan. Maybe you don't have enough of something, you're paying too much for something, or you don't know what benefits you have in your current plan. He'd love to sit down for you. No cost consultation. He'll go over it, get you the plan you need. There are not two plans that are alike. It's kind of like snowflakes. Same with your plans. You should have one catered to you. Minogue.life's the place to go. Kate Cusack for Ruoff Mortgage. It's summertime. Do you want that dream home with the pool? She'll help you get it. She'll help you get pre-approved and ready to go when that dream home hits the market so that you're first in. It's still a very competitive market. Kate Cusack for Ruoff Mortgage. Give her a call, or you can visit her on Facebook. It's Kate Cusack Home Loan Girl, or you can call her 219-775-6645 within respectable hours, please. TigerPlumbing.net for all your plumbing needs. There are amazing plumbers. They fix everything. They come out for free still, which is crazy this day and age. TigerPlumbing.net. FBIBuildings.com. There are folks that renovate and restore and build new pole barn structures, residential, commercial. They do amazing work. This stuff looks so modern that they do. Check them out on Facebook, FBI Buildings, or FBIBuildings.com if you need anything renovated. They'll take old ones and renovate them too. T&T Tree Service, if you have a tree that's looking a little wonky on your property, maybe it looks like it's going to fall on your house, you might want to take care of that. T&T Tree Service is the place to go for that. If you have any storm damage as well, they get into tight spots and fix it up really nicely. They're professional across the board. TTTreeservice.com is the place to go, or 219-300-6256. Last but not least, Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Valparaiso. They've got brand new Jeeps ready to go. The doors come off, the windows stay on the front. At least you need that windshield when you're driving. But they've got some great looking cars out there. Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram right there on US 30. All right, we'll say hi to our early birds here. I think we've had enough people join that we can get into some coverage now of these storms. We've got Mark with us this evening. Good evening to you, Mark. Mary's with us. Good afternoon or evening, depending on how you view it. Stephen. Rhonda's with us. She said she would be when she joined us earlier. Thanks for joining us, Rhonda. I appreciate it. Angel's with us tonight. Hi, Angel. Jeff, Lynn. Jesse's with us. Says, good news, please. Tom says, central Munster, no rain. South of me could hear continuous thunder. Guessing Cherville and Dyer got it. They did. Tom, and we talked about that at 4. I think you were on at 4, where these storms, there were holes in the storms where the line would go through. Some places would get just a shower and others would get dumped on. We certainly have that happening right now. Derek's with us this evening. Mary says went through Cherville. Nathan says hitting Lowell right now. Kathy finally made a live broadcast. We try to go through those sponsors and let some people join as well. Let's see. Oh, Liz, that's sweet. I don't want the news, so you're the only weather report I pay attention to. That's sweet. All right. And then, Madison's really happy for Tiger Plumbing. That's great. Okay. Thank you for everyone else that's spending time with us. All right, let's get into the meat potatoes of the broadcast here. Here's the radar right now. We've got a line of storms moving through. None of this is severe right now, but some of these storms are packing a punch. We've seen wind gusts to 40 within some of these, and there's also some hail. So we'll stop the radar with where it is right now. We are now all clear in Maryville and Crown Point. You had some hail in Crown Point that moved through earlier. You're now in the clear. This storm is moving through areas of southern Lake County. So Lowell, you've already gotten hit with some rain. You're getting a real heavy rain right now that's moving through. There is some small hail on the south side of town. That's heading out towards the east. So range line, you will be in the path of some of that hail. This is going to head into Orchard Grove and Dinwiddie as well with some hail. All right. So pretty decent storm for you in Lowell. Hebron, you've got a good storm as well. Nothing severe with this again, but you've got heavy rain. You already had a batch of heavy rain. It's picking back up again for you. No small hail out of this section of the storm. There is some to your west, though, so I wouldn't be surprised if you had some small hail heading in your direction. Big storm right now with hail just south of Boone Grove. Not severe. Again, these are just below severe limits, but they are packing a pretty decent punch. We've got some wind gusts in that as well. So Boone Grove, it's over you right now. Heading out east towards 5 Points Corner, and then Meldon dealing with some heavier rain. This is getting into Wanata. You just started to pick up the heavier downpours. You've got some lightning strikes around as well. In terms of Valpo itself, worst of the storm is now east of you and south of you. So we're just picking up a general moderate rain on the north side of the storm. Still some occasional lightning strikes, so keep everything inside here over the next hour until this thing clears on out. But you're about done with the rain here. What we will see in Valpo is this line, as this continues east, it tends to put off on the north side of it, pretty decent rain. So this will all kind of fill in. We'll likely keep the rain train going again for another half hour or so for you in Valpo. And then out towards the east, we get this break where there's not much happening in Westville, and there won't be much in Westville. But then we've got another cell off towards the north, this one heading through LaPorte and areas of LaPorte County. So Rolling Prairie heads up. You've got a decent line of storms moving into your neck of the woods. LaPorte, you've got good downpours right over downtown right now. Nothing severe with this either. We did have some gusty winds as this thing rolled off the lake. Michigan City up towards Grand Beach, getting into Berrien County in Michigan, picking up some decent winds and heavy rain with that as well. That storm is now east. So we're clearing things out. Chesterton, you're fine. You're all done with the rain. Porter as well. Portage, you're fine. We'll be fine in northern areas of Lake County as well. You get the idea. East Chicago, Gary Hammond, you're clear now. There's a little bit more rain off towards the west. So if you do have outdoor plans this evening, perhaps that take you into the next couple hours, we've watched this area of rain out towards the west. This is just kind of light rain. There's some drizzle in there as well. This is along the actual frontal boundary as it continues to push east. So these storms move through. We get a break for about an hour, and then eventually that little band of light rain will move back in. Okay? So who needs to keep an eye out for the storms from here on out? Well, obviously areas east of it. So Stark County, you haven't gotten much of anything yet, including North Judson and Knox. These storms are heading on in from the west, so you can expect heavy rain, some hail, areas of gusty winds. And there's a real good shot you get wet there. There's no little holes like we see off towards the north on the radar. So you're going to get hit with some rain and some wind in areas of Stark County. In the areas of Jasper County, Wheatfield, going to get hit with some rain. Heading on up towards La Crosse, Couts, you're about to get hit as well. Again, nothing severe out of this as of now. Could we see a severe thunderstorm warning out of this? Perhaps, but again, I mentioned 2 hours ago when we're tracking this in, our dynamics aren't quite the same to support severe weather as they are further out towards the west. So I'm not too worried about these storms getting out of control, but we will have to keep an eye on it because some of these storms can merge and you can get some stronger wind that taps into a little jet stream level energy. So we can get pockets of stronger winds within these that could produce a little bit of damage. But overall, I'm not looking at a ton of that. In terms of the winds, let's look at that briefly. Something we often do during tornado coverage on here. You can see when we look at this radar, any areas that are bright red or into the orange, that's where you've got some stronger wind gusts. So you can see this cell right here that went through Cedar Lake. See, as we kind of track that along, heading into Couts, there's some strong winds with that. And we've got another little clump of stronger winds heading down towards Shelby and Schneider now, heading out of the Lowell area. There are some stronger winds with that. Further off towards the north, I'm not seeing much. There are some pockets of stronger winds up into Porter County and LaPorte County, but I'm not seeing anything really concerning. We did have some gustier winds, as I mentioned, that came off the lake into Michigan City, but I'm not too concerned about the wind up there. And again, not severe, so there's that. And then last thing we'll check here is going to be the hail. And you can see we have had some small hail within these storms. Again, subsevere for the most part. We had some hail that moved through Crown Point. With this storm right here, you can see that it keeps trying to kind of pulse up. We've got a little bit of hail north of Couts there. But overall, the hail isn't going to be too big of an issue, and I'm not expecting that to really take over anything like that. Okay, so that's what we're dealing with on the radar front here this evening. Stark County, southern and central areas of LaPorte County still going to get hit like Kingsford Heights. And then down towards the south, we're seeing these storms move out of southern Lake and Porter counties and into areas like Jasper County. All right, and that'll eventually get out towards the east. Okay, once this line goes through, we're fine. We're severe weather clear. Again, not a big severe threat from this, but once this line moves through, we'll quiet down. We get a little bit of light rain, and then we deal with more pop-up storms tomorrow. Okay, so let's transition from that. You're going to see a big old me real quick, and then I'm going to share our forecast screen here. And we'll go over what we normally do here on our Region Weather Lives on Sunday evening. All right. So here's what we're dealing with. Weather-wise, we have this big area of low pressure. This is something you typically see in like April or May. I mean, it happens in June, but it's a big low out of Canada. And there's a lot of cold air aloft with this. And so when you get cold air aloft and you have a June atmosphere where that sun is heating the ground and that heat rises, right? Anytime you get cold air aloft, you pop a lot of clouds and you pop a lot of downpours. And so with this little bubble of low pressure, with this cold air aloft, you can see numerous areas of clouds. There are thunderstorms in here as well. And this is what we deal with tomorrow. It's not a direct hit from this. We're going to get kind of clipped by it, but I do think we get some thunderstorms in here tomorrow. And some of them can get a little squirrely or severe in spots with this kind of setup. Just from experience, I've seen some storm where you just see it and you're like, oh, it's going to be cooler, more stable. You know, we might have some storms around tomorrow. And what has happened in the past is I've noticed some of these tend to overproduce, and you tend to get some stronger storms than what models and forecasts are saying in this kind of cold air aloft setup, especially in the month of June. And so I would not be surprised if we had a couple stronger thunderstorms around the region tomorrow afternoon in that peak heating. And if, excuse me, if not for us, areas of Wisconsin and Michigan, all right, because that's where really the low is. But you can see the storms developing along that frontal boundary here locally. They're going some 40, 50,000 feet in the atmosphere, pretty impressive. And then we don't really lose the clouds for a while. We've got a little bit of a stretch there. And you can see it on the rain front. A little popcorn look to the radar up here, but again, we're going to get a little warmer tomorrow than they are in Wisconsin and Minnesota. So again, low pressure we need to watch. Here's the storm threat here. Big old storms down towards Texas and Oklahoma. They're expecting a pretty wild, severe weather night down there. Let me just kind of zoom out. Not continental. Let's do this one. I'll just show you some of the storms popping down there. Pretty wild evening here down towards Oklahoma and Texas. And you see this little band right here. This is a very strong outflow boundary coming off these storms that are out towards the east near Lubbock. So pretty active weather down there. Big hailers down in Texas and Oklahoma tonight. So be thankful for where we are on the weather map. All right, let's go through time. Let's take you through the next 10 to 15 days and look at any weather patterns coming our way. There's our storms tonight. Should get a little light rain there. That's that little batch out towards the west here in the next couple hours. And then we would dry out tonight. Temperatures have come down with the rain. Our humidity kind of staying the same, but the humidity will back off a little bit tonight and tomorrow. And then that low pressure part is the part we have to watch tomorrow. So tomorrow afternoon, little daytime heating, and notice how we bubble up some kind of popcorn look to the radar showers and thunderstorms. Some of these, again, I would not be surprised if we had an isolated severe storm or two. Hail would actually be the primary threat tomorrow with that cold air aloft. I could see it happening. Again, models, I don't see it in the forecast or anything like that, but something that just take note. You know, hey, Matt said we might get some hail out of some of these storms tomorrow. Not for everyone. It'd be isolated, but again, you have to watch this in this kind of setup. But you can see that kind of circle area with that low pressure. It's just a little compact little low there with cold air aloft. What happens with the cold air aloft? Once the sun goes down, you lose that heating. The air stops rising. It starts to sink a little bit better. And so the storm chances really go away with a few leftover showers. So tomorrow night we should be fine. And then Tuesday we'll do it all over again with a few pop-ups across the Great Lakes. I have a hunch that we're going to be mainly dry here in the region on Tuesday. I think bulk of this is going to be up in Michigan, but we're still dealing with kind of the same weather pattern there, but we will start to warm up. All right, once we get beyond that, so here we go. There's your storm chance tomorrow. All right, we'll take you into Tuesday. There's Tuesday, see a few pop-ups still around the Great Lakes. Maybe an isolated shower here in the region. I'm not too concerned. And then we dry out for a while. We're going to go dry again midweek. Wednesday, we're dry. System scooting through southern Ontario. Thursday, we're dry. And then as we go into Thursday and Friday, there's going to be a frontal boundary, a warm front that it's a cold front that settles north of us, but it'll stall and it'll become a warm front. And it's going to kind of stall as a stationary front for a few days before it does become a warm front. So there are going to be numerous thunderstorms in and around the Great Lakes. Big question is, where does this front settle? The Euro has had it for the last couple runs settling north of us. So you can see there's showers and thunderstorms, but they're just north of us before it starts to lift. So that means we have a dry rest of the week, all right, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. However, if that front decides to settle just a little bit further south, we're talking like 100 miles further south, we could end up with some storms around here at some point later on this week. So that's what I'll be keeping my eye on. All indication is that that front sags south as an area of low pressure kind of pulls it in. That would happen Saturday, so we are looking at a rain and storm chance on Saturday around here. If that is progressive enough, we would clear out on Sunday. If that front is slower, then we would have some leftover showers and thunderstorms around here Sunday. Something to watch. Again, too early to call on that. My hunch says that it would head through with some showers and storms Saturday. We'd be dry on Sunday, but it can change. It really can, the timing this time of year. And look at all the storms down towards the south, but that's where they kind of get pushed. And then we get into more of a stormy pattern as we go into the following week. We've been tracking that for a while, where we get some of those big complexes of storms. It continues to kind of get pushed back in the weather modeling. So it's interesting to see. It's kind of like the Euro back in the day used to think days 15, 16, or days 13, 14, and 15 were all going to be 100 degrees. The Euro's kind of doing that, where it thinks there's going to have this big complex of storm pattern. But it's been stuck in like day 10 for a while, so we haven't really seen it yet. All right, in terms of temperatures and the heat, well, what we look for is this big bubble of red down towards the southwest. All right, it's hot in the desert right now. That's where the heat is. This is their hottest time of the year. The monsoon season cools them off, and that starts later this month. It goes through July and August into early September. So that's where the heat is. And oftentimes this time of year, if we're going to get heat, I'm talking 90s plus, we would see a chunk of that air kind of break off and come our way. All right. It's not going to happen with this low that we've got Monday, Tuesday. All right. The little swirl that's coming in, that's going to keep us on the cooler side of things. That heat will start to build Wednesday, Thursday down towards the southwest. But you also notice there's a big ridge out towards the southeast. So they're going to have a pretty decent stretch of 90s down in the ATL down towards Florida. And then watch how that builds. We get a decent ridge that builds. This is Thursday into Friday. And here you go. Saturday into Sunday, we start to build some heat in the eastern U.S. And you can see how a little bit of that, actually most of that, is off of this chunk in the desert Southwest. You see how that heat builds, gets real hot in Phoenix, Albuquerque, up towards Denver, and then that chunk breaks off, and there you go. We start to warm up as it looks right now. Hottest days would be June 18th through the 22nd, I believe, is when it sticks around. Yeah, so actually 23rd in this modeling. So we do get pretty warm around here, says the Euro later on this month. What's that mean in terms of numbers? Well, nothing too out of control here. This is the Euro deterministic run, so it's a kind of a blend of all the models, all the Euro runs that they had. Cooler next couple days. We heat up into the 80s. That's average for this time of year. Later this week, a little cooler with the rain chances Saturday into Sunday with that front. And then we would start to warm up, and you could see the Euro saying some upper 80s to near 90 in the mix. I could see it getting warmer if that ridge comes in over the next couple of days on the modeling. If it continues to hold, I could see us getting into the 90s then. And final thing I've got for you is an update on the drought. Remember, all this rain that we got was after the drought monitor information got entered. So the drought monitor, or the nationwide drought, basically the look at where the drought is in the U.S., it gets released on Thursdays every single week. But the information is up until Tuesday, and then they process it and they throw out a map on Thursday. And so we got a lot of that rain after the information was processed last Tuesday. Bottom line, what does all this mean? I think we're going to be downgraded, which is good news, from what we're in right now, which is moderate drought D1 out of 4. All right, a lot of us obviously have been dry, but I think we will be downgraded from a D1 likely to a D0. That's just what I'm thinking, which would be abnormally dry, which would technically take us out of drought. So it wouldn't technically be a drought around here, but we know we need as much rain as we can. I was doing a little research. Last 4 out of 5 Junes have been dry. All right, we've just gone dry late May into June. It's been hard to get rain. So every system that goes by, if we can get rain out of it like we're doing today and right now, that's great news. And so let's do that. All right. So the rain is very precious this time of year, especially in the month of June. Okay. I'm going to switch back over real quick. I'll answer your questions. If you guys have anything you'd like to know, go ahead, throw them in the chat. I'll answer your questions. And then what I'm going to do is get back to the radar here. We'll give one final kind of run through on what we've got radar-wise, and then we'll get you on your way here on this Sunday evening, all right? I appreciate also you guys have been, I don't think anyone notices or cares, but I haven't had as many weather posts this last week because I've been on vacation, trying to do things with the family. Took the kids out camping in the backyard one night. My wife and I, as some of you know, went down. We had a nice wedding down at the Gulf Coast for a dear friend of mine. So I've been kind of out of commission. You probably haven't noticed, though. We've posted every day. Some of the days it's been a struggle to get the computer and do it. But starting tomorrow, I'm back to work. So that means we'll start with the morning minutes. We'll have those videos ready for you, and we'll have normal posting again. Basically, I've been on like kind of half weather duty and half vacation mode. That's kind of how it goes. But now we're going to be back to full weather duty again this week. So I probably haven't noticed, but a disclaimer, we're going to be back to normal operations here. By we, I mean me, as we go into the week. Okay. So there's that. All right, let's get some of your questions in here. Chris, we'll start with you. You said Texas is getting destroyed this season. They are. Chris, they've had some really active weather late spring, especially. Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas got nailed. Tennessee's had a rough spring as well. So it's been rough for a lot of people around here, for sure. Luann's with us. Hi, Luann. Say hi to Mr. Mike for me. Hope you guys are doing well. Kathy asked a good question. Why do we go off of dew points now instead of humidity percentage? So you can go off anything you want. Kathy, I've always done dew points. And dew point, it's a great question. Dew point is such a better number to use. What you're trying to figure out is it humid outside or not, right? That's what you want to know. You want to know if it's sticky and muggy, or you want to know if it's dry. And the number that tells you that is the dew point, all right? If the dew point is up at 50 degrees, all right, you can start to feel the air, but it's not really muggy. When it gets to 60 degrees or higher, it's humid. That's when you really start to feel it. And when it gets above 70, which it does midsummer around here, a lot of that after the corn crop to our west. We talk about that every year, the corn sweat. It puts off a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, and that moisture makes it thick. Anyway, if it gets above 70, that's when it's tropical outside, all right? Whereas humidity is basically what humidity is measuring is how full is the glass, all right? If your atmosphere can hold, and I'll use my water bottle as an example, if your atmosphere can hold this much water, all right, but it only has this much water, then it's 60% humidity, right? If it's raining outside and if it's foggy, you have 100% humidity or something in the 90s. You can have hot days, but it's dry outside. That means your humidity is low. So humidity isn't something, humidity varies so much, and it'll come up at night, it'll go down during the day. It's not a telltale sign of whether it feels muggy and humid outside. I know humidity you think would tell you if it's humid. It doesn't. It's dew point that tells you that. All right. So start focusing on the dew point. If you guys have a weather app, the dew point, you want to make sure you keep an eye on the dew point. And every week during the summer, and we've done it last couple of weeks, I post the Muggy Meter. The Muggy Meter is and I'll do it for the whole week. That's basically what the dew point's going to do throughout the week. So that tells you if it's going to be muggy or not. All right. And I can tell you today, it's pretty muggy. The dew point's been in the mid 60s here locally. So it's humid outside. You can feel it. This line of storms as it moves through, though, we do have lower dew points coming in behind it. I think I can pull up dew points. I'm not particularly, let's see if I can get it on here. Here we go. Yeah, let's do dew points here. Boy, there's a good one. All right, so dew points you can see are, some of these readings are off, all right? They're not proper sensors, but a lot of these are in the 60s. See, we're in the low to mid 60s, 63, 64, 63, 59. Notice how we drop into the 50s up here, okay? That's your drier air. So dew points in the 60s, we're feeling the air. Porter County Airport sitting at 65. And then we've got drier air moving in from the west where dew points drop into the 50s. That's the more comfortable stuff, and that's coming in behind the front. And so that's what we'll feel tomorrow. We'll have dew points in the 50s tomorrow. It won't be, super dry and comfortable, but it'll be a lot better than it is right now. Okay? Deb, you're welcome. I hope that works. Let's see. Dot, yes, great question. She says, are we done with overnight low temperatures that are harmful to plants? Yes, absolutely. It is time to get everything into the ground, your annuals, get them going, and go from there. Rich says, nice suntan. Thanks, Rich. A lot of that's just from mowing our yard here. Deb, good. Yeah, glad that's helpful for sure. Pearl says, a little humidity, still no complaints. Yeah, Kathy, so the humidity, it's going to be borderline opening the windows. We're not going to get to the point this week where it's going to feel comfortable opening the windows again. At least in my opinion, dew points need to be in the 40s and low 50s if we're going to do that. But I'm so picky. Like if it's 70 degrees outside, we've got the AC on. All right. I live warm. I'm always hot. My wife, on the other hand, opposite. So there's that. Tomorrow night you should be able to open the windows. For you, I wouldn't want to, but it will be dry enough to do that. Dew points should be in the 50s. And then they'll kind of ramp back up later this week out ahead of those rain chances. But so you'll be able to open them some nights this week, depending on your level of comfortability. So there's that. Kelly Jo, you're welcome. All right. Yeah, good, Dan. That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, so Kathy, it is going to start to get less humid tonight, overnight. We're going to see our dew points drop into the 50s. And by tomorrow morning, our dew point should be in the 50s. So it will get less humid tonight. And it's this part right here. So again, this is kind of the actual front back here with these showers. So that's where that line is right now of drier air. And that will move in here later on this evening. So I'd say by 10 or 11, you'll start to see that dew point come down. And then overnight tonight, we should drop back down to the 50s. Absolutely. No, those are great questions. Those are great questions, Kathy. Yeah, so there's that. Kelly Jo asks, what about air quality? Any relief in sight? So this front is kind of clearing it out. It's not going to completely clear out, though. And there are signs later this week we get another chunk of wildfire smoke that comes in from Canada. So we're going to be better the next couple of days. But later on this week, we'll have to keep an eye on the wind flow because we could get another chunk coming in. And, part of the thing that's going to bring that down is this low pressure that's swirling in here. Remember, I showed that to you with the pop-ups tomorrow. That low is grabbing some of that Canadian wildfire smoke, and it's going to kind of wrap it in. And so we're not looking at a great week of air quality. I think it's going to be a little while till we get that. And, I need to check on Western Canada to see when they're going to get some rain because it's ridiculous. These wildfires are just I mean, most of them are natural. All right, it's part of the process where some of the brush burns down, but the other problem is some of these are not natural and they're caused by man. Whether it be baby announcement, let's do fireworks, or whether it be just a campfire getting out of control or a cigarette that heads out the window. So either way, doesn't matter what causes it. The problem is it's bad up in Canada and Western Canada right now, even central Canada. And anytime we have a northwest flow or northerly flow that brings it into the country, unfortunately, that's going to give us some problems. And it spreads out for such a big area, such a widespread area. So there's that. Why do we have the front behind the storm so much? Well, normally, Kathy, the front is lined up with the storms. This one just kind of lags a little bit. That happens in the summer. So normally the front would be right here in the fall and in the spring, where you would, we get the storms and then it'd be colder outside or turn windy and that temperature would drop. This time of year, the atmosphere is a little bit slower moving. And so you tend to get this kind of lag in terms of the cooler air. And so, we've got this in-between period right here where nothing's really changed. You go back outside, you're like, oh, it's still humid and it's not cooler. The wind hasn't shifted because the cooler air tends to lag behind. And sometimes it can lag behind by half a day or so once we get into July and August. Everything just kind of moves slower and that heat's a little stronger. So there's that. Pearl, I agree. Pearl's talking about raining and how just God's rain is the best. Pearl, it absolutely is. There's such a difference between your garden hose water and your well water or city water versus rain falling from the sky. That rain from the sky is so much more beneficial for plants. Plants will get by just fine if you have to water with a hose, but they really enjoy some of the nutrients that the rain brings down and that they bring out of the soil. It's just a deeper soaking usually, in more of a widespread area. And the other thing that's very helpful for plants is lightning. Lightning is very good in bringing, it does multiple things, but it brings the nitrogen out of the soil and it basically feeds the plant. So that's why when we have a good lightning storm at night, you'll often wake up the next morning, you'll notice everything's a little bit more green. It's because of that nitrogen addition that lightning helps to bring out. So lightning is a very, very good thing, especially for all that. So there's that. Yeah, me too, KJ. Kathy says rain barrels are a great invention. They really are. So there's that. Jacqueline, no problem. So Jacqueline, in terms of the rain on Friday and Saturday, we are looking at another system coming in. There's going to be rain close by on Friday. I've got the best chance of rain being on Saturday, unfortunately. We would have some kind of front sliding south. Big question is, does it clear out for Sunday or does it linger? I've got it clearing out for Sunday right now, but it does look like Saturday is going to be, we're going to have scattered rain and storms. Doesn't mean it's going to be a washout at this point, but it does mean we are going to be contending with some rain chances at some point. Pearl's really excited about nitrogen. That's awesome. All right, guys, I think that's it. I appreciate you joining me here on the Sunday evening. We kicked in a little early to track these storms. Again, rest of the evening, I don't have anything severe right now, so these are just run-of-the-mill thunderstorms, but they're putting down some heavy rain. Not a ton of lightning with them, but there's some, and we do have some small hail as well. So Rensselaer, you're getting hit right now with the decent storm, perhaps some small hail for you. Our biggest storm right now is down towards Kentland. We've got good lightning with that, areas of southern Newton and Jasper County. And then, I mean, these storms are packing a punch too. Rolling Prairie, you just got hit. It's heading out into North Liberty, some heavier rain. Knox, areas of Stark County, you're getting into it. Some heavy rain is the main thing with these, but we've got some lightning. There's pockets of small hail, and there are a few pockets of some stronger wind gusts. But again, everything's below severe weather limits, so we're not worried about severe weather from here on out as these continue to head east. And then once this moves through, these will be out another hour or so. We get a break, and then there's this area of light rain, and then temperatures and dew points will start to come down, so it'll be a little bit more comfortable after that. Okay? All right, guys, you guys have a wonderful week. Again, we're back at it on the radio side of things, X-Rock 103.9, Indiana 105.5, Z107.1, as well as regionweather.com. You can expect those morning email updates for you right to your inbox, so make sure you sign up on regionweather.com. On the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see sign up for emails, and it's just one a day is what I send, and I hand type it and make a little pretty picture for you as well. So if you're not plugged in there, I think we've got 500 some people that get those every day. So if you're not plugged in, it's a good way to stay connected and have a local forecast that's not from an app or a computer or a robot. So it's kind of nice to stay in age. Okay. All right. You guys have a wonderful night. All right. Let me know if you need anything, and we'll get through this week. Nice summer-like week out ahead of us. All right. Bye.